So she grew up in a 70-acre beef cattle ranch and wholesale nursery. I didn't know that about you. Interesting. She has run for state representative of the 33rd District in Middletown. More recently, she's the founder and CEO of Fight Voter Fraud and End Voter Fraud. Ladies and gentlemen, Linda Szynkowicz.
I always tell people I have the name that people can't say or spell. And that's thanks to my husband, Vinny, back there, who is extremely supportive of everything that I do. Very quickly, I will give you an idea of how I started Fight Voter Fraud. I ran for state rep in Middletown in 2014, 16, and 18. In 2018, I finally figured out what was going on. I was sending out information to people that are newly registered. They were coming back to me saying they didn't live there. But then I went and checked out at the town clerk's office the absentee ballot request forms. Not the absentee ballot requests, but the forms themselves. In October of 2018, I looked at 634. I also have pictures of them, by the way. Out of those, 410 were either illegal or invalid. So I'm looking at these going, okay, what do I do? So I contacted the chief state's attorney's office because I figured I've got hard evidence here between the stuff that's been mailed back to me, these absentee ballot request forms that are improperly filled out, a whole bunch of different people had written on a number of them, they're not sequentially ordered, etc. And I was told, sorry, we can't help you, we don't have the resources. Go to the SEEC, the State Election Enforcement Commission. I'd already dealt with them in 2014 and 16 over different violations and had found that things that I was correct on, they would take a year to 2 years to come down with their findings, and they would never do what the state said they should do. So a friend of mine actually reminded me, I should say, that 2018 was a federal election. Now, in a federal election, it's the FBI that's in charge of all the voting stuff because it's a federal election. So I contacted them, spoke with them 3 times. 8 days before the election, I'm supposed to meet with them at 7 o'clock in the morning down in Bridgeport. At 12 noon. At 7 in the morning, I get a phone call. I'm sorry, we can't meet with you. And I said, do you want to change the time, the location? They said, no, it's going to look like we're interfering with an election. Go to the SEEC. So, Fight Voter Fraud was born out of frustration, aggravation, and extreme anger. As a matter of fact, the first thing I did was I developed a logo, which my designer was like, well, you really don't want to use that logo. It was a fist. And it was Amy Stefanowski in December who said, Linda, it kind of looks like the Black Panthers. So it took me until January to finally say, okay, we're going to change the logo, which is what we have now for our logo. You can see it on our table in the back there. But as I told Amy Stefanowski back in September, and she almost spit out her water, I said, when I look at that, I still see a fist. Because I feel we have to do something. I want my vote to count. I want your vote to count. I don't care what party you're from. Our votes and one person with one legal voter is what our motto is about. To have our voices heard. And our voices are not being heard at all from everything that I've seen in data that we've collected. So what Fight Voter Fraud has done is we are a research and investigative organization, a 501c4 nonprofit. We hired a corporate investigative firm with former federal agents that are quietly going town by town collecting public information. So we're doing a lot of the grunt work here. We are collecting the data because in order to make any changes, you have to have facts. And as you know, Denise Merrill said, there's no voter fraud in Connecticut. It's like, every time I see that, I'm like, are you kidding me? Even down in Bridgeport, well, that's an anomaly. Well, that's been going on for decades down there. Decades. And I found that the state of Connecticut does not want to make the changes. So we have to do this ourselves. And that's what we've been doing. I'll tell you, my best guesstimate is in 2018, we're going to be able to show at least 50,000 invalid or illegal votes here in the state of Connecticut alone. Would that have changed the 22 races that were lost by less than 100 votes up at the Capitol?
Oh, yeah.
So when people talk about the fact that we're a blue state, we are not a blue state. We are purple leaning towards red. And we're going to be able to show that with facts. You're not going to hear us in the news. We're not making announcements on things that we're doing. Although there was one small little thing that happened in Hamden. We have a federal lawsuit going on. One of the things that we have also done, and I'll get to how this happened with Hamden, is we geo-fenced all of Connecticut with an app called Report It. It's a free app you can download on your phone. There's even a way to just to text us. But anybody in Connecticut that suspects any voter fraud can send it through our Report It. We keep you anonymous. And within 3 seconds of you sending it, I get it. One of my investigators gets it. It's a way to gather the information. So as we were developing that, I did get a phone call from somebody saying, I think there's some voter fraud stuff going on in Hamden. The town clerk, happened to be a Democrat, was running for re-election, but she's out there taking the absentee ballot request forms, not signing them out, and going out and getting them. 4 hours later, we had someone down there. You know what? That wasn't really the case. But we found something else. It was a Sunday night when I got the email of what I was looking at. It may seem minor, but we need to keep the integrity of the absentee ballot request forms, because that's going to be somebody's vote. What was sent to me was the absentee ballot log. That's the log that you sign out. You have to show your driver's license or identification on who you are, your name, address, and every single absentee ballot request form has a code at the top in sequential order. Imagine our surprise when we're looking at the log and we see Inchworks. Who's that? They got 100 absentee ballot request forms, and there was 8 other locations that had the names of facilities, but nobody who actually has custody of the absentee ballot request forms. So our first little dip in the water, legally, was to say, we're going to throw an injunction against Hamden, using 4 of the plaintiffs, people who are running in Hamden, and say, you want to pull those and just fix the system. Just put down who has custody of them. Hamden refused to do that. What they also didn't know is we had already had our corporate investigators in there for 3 weeks collecting information, and we've got a lot of stuff besides this that's going on there. So Friday, before this past election, we're supposed to have a hearing. Thursday, Hamden attorneys throw it into federal court and said to our attorneys, we know we're right, you don't want to go through with this, and we'll be done with it. We were excited. We don't want state court. Everybody here knows what the state of Connecticut does when it comes to anything to do with voting. So we were ecstatic. So their attorney couldn't believe this, and the federal judge called for an emergency hearing with the judge via telephone for our attorney and his attorney, or the Hamden's attorney. And when our attorney said, we don't know if it's the mayor's son that has these, the federal judge said, oh, now I get it. The saying, the town clerk is correct, the plaintiffs are wasting taxpayer dollars, and they never signed it. So they counted all those absentee ballot request forms, by the way. So this coming February is going to be the hearing. We've gotten it expedited. And all we want is to have people that are accountable. Is that too much to ask for? Apparently in Connecticut it is. But at this point right now, fight voter fraud. We, like I said, are quietly in half a dozen towns. And to answer someone's questions, yes, we have someone permanently in Bridgeport. We've also started a second organization called End Voter Fraud. End Voter Fraud is our 501c3 that is starting to build a clean database for voters in the state of Connecticut and will also be the educational arm. Because as many of you probably realize, the 1993 motor voter law, Connecticut has violated, and we need to prove it in order for the system to get fixed. The 1993 motor voter law, in case some of you aren't aware, was when they allowed motor vehicle to be able to register people for voting. But what you had to do was make sure people who passed away are no longer on the list, people who have moved, and people, any illegal immigrants, etc., anybody who's not legal to vote should be removed. They have not done that. Now, Judicial Watch has sued California, Wisconsin, and Kentucky and won over this law. That's why California right now is fixing it. In September, I met with the attorneys for Judicial Watch. They don't have the people to be on the ground collecting the information. They know how to handle the lawsuits. We're the ones collecting the information. So everything that we collect here in Connecticut will also be sent to Judicial Watch, because we need to straighten out the state of Connecticut. I want my vote to count. I want your vote to count. Well, I want to thank all of you. We do have a table back there. We have some shirts and some other information. And as nonprofits, obviously we function on donations. So the more money we're able to raise, the quicker we can get to your town and clean things up. So thank you very much.